Very, very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on a KTN News Desk on this 18th day of April 2017. Always a pleasure to have you tuned in. My name is Akisa Wandera. Among the big stories of the day are the ODM primaries in the counties of Nyamira, Taita Taveta, Kajiado and Nakuru counties. And we have our guys on the ground, our political reporters on the ground with all these details, among other things. Many thanks for joining us. All right, let's start off from the Orange House, where ODM Secretary General Dr. Agnes Zani is currently giving a press briefing on the ODM primaries that have kicked in today. This is the third or fourth day of the primaries that are being conducted in 5 counties: Nyamira, Kajiado, Nakuru, and Taita Taveta. Let's just cross over there live and listen in to Dr. Agnes Zani.
We want to be able to have fairness out there in the counties, that the person who wins becomes the flag bearer for this party to face the other members on the 8th, 17. Thank you very much. I want to, Dr. Arunga, I think would like to come up and say something. Karibu, Dr.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
We would like to indicate as the National Elections Board that there were a few hitches because the exercise is very big, and therefore in an exercise like this there will be mistakes here and there, but they are being corrected as they occur. We have hotlines, and every time we receive reports, we try to correct any challenges in the field. The specific one I would like to mention now is what occurred in Trans Nzoia. There was a report that ballot boxes had not been delivered. But indeed, I have found out that they were delivered as expected. But even with that report, we have also made some contingency plans. And boxes were going there in large numbers. So as soon as we get reports of any problems, we try our best as the National Election Board, working with the party secretariat and working with the devolved system to ensure that everything is rectified. We'd like to take this opportunity to assure you that we will try and deliver a free, fair, and peaceful nominations on behalf of the ODM fraternity and also on behalf of the Kenyan nation. Thank you very much.
We're going to take questions.
Okay, first, in Busia County, the MP for the woman indicated that she's not willing to participate in the repeat nominations for the presidency. He says that they've given an ultimatum that by today the board needs to award him the certificate. What do you have to do? Number 2, the NASA principal, sometime last week, said that you need to draw a statement that you said that shows who is the preferred presidential candidate. Have you drawn video, and when does the retreat start?
Thank you very much. Let me just start by saying that both Honorable Otuoma and Mheshimiwa Governor Ojamong are members of this party. And as a party, we are open to negotiations, discussions at various levels. So at this level, we're going to pursue interaction with both our members and be able to find a way forward. Because I think for me, and I think for us, if I speak as ODM, what is very critical is that we are a party, first and foremost, as ODM. Elections bring out various feelings and various situations. And what happens on the ground is still something that needs to be investigated further. We have our own tally audit systems that we will kick into place. There's a proposal that has been put to make a repeat, of which some member might not be willing and the other might not be willing. So we're going to put into place our mechanisms, and we're going to find a way forward that is amicable to both the candidates, and we'll inform them of that way forward. The second that you've asked about the statement that I made, I want to make it very clear that first and foremost, when we referred to the specific report, and that is the NASA report, and that a leakage had taken place, I went out to say that that leakage did not come from ODM, and it did not. And we have more information that is coming. But I think the statement and what it sought to indicate very clearly was that as we proceeded, we had specific recommendations that were made. These recommendations were to be taken back to the principals. So we had one report that actually leaked out that didn't have all the information. And what I was cautioning about is that let us very, very carefully not discuss that report in detail because it is not accurate, and the principals to focus on the other report, which is what forms part and parcel of the negotiations that are going to take place. It is not the only document. We'd already agreed as part of the Secretariat and as NCC, the National Coordinating Committee, that at the end of the day, the decision is going to be the decision of the principals. And we are looking forward to that retreat because I know Kenyans more than ever before are really looking forward to when we're going to have the NASA. Semeni NASA. Semeni NASA. The NASA flag bearer. And we respect all the four principles equally. And we all know together they will be able to sit and give us a way forward. So I want to tell Kenya.
ODM Secretary General Dr. Agnes Zani there addressing an array of issues in ODM and NASA as a whole, but specifically the primaries that are currently ongoing in 5 counties in the country. And of course, earlier on, we also saw Dr. Bob Arunga, who is the Secretary of the National Elections Board in ODM, also speaking about the primaries in Trans Nzoia County. Let's now turn our attention to ODM primaries and Governor John Murutu and Wundanyi Member of Parliament Thomas Mwedego have been campaigning vigorously ahead of the ODM primaries today. Voters will decide who between the two perennial rivals will carry the ODM flag for the county's governor during the August 8th elections. We do understand that voting was thrown into disarray in the morning following delays in the delivery of ballot boxes and arrival of clerks from Mwatate. All right, let's now speak to our reporter, Francis Mtalaki, who's joining us from Wundanyi constituency in Taita Taveta County. Well, Francis, we understand that the morning was not all good for this particular exercise. How are things now?
Well, good afternoon, Akisa. The exercise here at Sacred Heart Mwakibibi Secondary School has begun. We can indeed confirm that it began some minutes to 12 o'clock. But as you can see behind me, the queue is very huge in terms of the locals who have been waiting here since 6 a.m. in the morning. But we understand that from what has been happening since yesterday when the governor complained on a number of issues with regard to this exercise, and we've been able also to speak to his main challenger, who is the Member of Parliament from this constituency, which is Wundanyi constituency. He has dismissed those claims and saying that the County Elections Board is comprised of 3 persons, and 2 of those persons were selected by the governor himself. He only provided 1 person from his side, and so these issues should not be cropping up at the last minute. And so Mwedego is saying that as the exercise is continuing, that he is also pleading to the County Elections Board here to be able to extend the time, given that most of the locals here have been able to come early, but the exercise began a little bit late. Akisa.
Francis, the blame has majorly been put on a standoff between the incumbent Governor John Murutu and his rival, of course, Thomas Mwedego. Could you confirm this, and what exactly are the residents on the ground, or the people on the ground, are saying?
Well, Akisa, we've been able to talk to some of the locals here, but they seem not to be concerned with the intrigues between these two gentlemen, but they're saying that for them it is a matter of exercising their democratic right. That is why you are seeing most of them who are still here are waiting and saying that whatever time it takes, they will stay here so as to participate in this ODM primaries. And given that this is an ODM stronghold, and then this issue should be taken seriously. But also the current member of parliament from this constituency, who is Thomas Mwadegu, says that he is still waiting for an official communication from the National Elections Board with regard to this matter. Remember, he has been dismissing those claims, and so it will be good also to listen maybe from what the National Elections Board in Nairobi will be saying with regard to this. But he also complained that why is this issues coming at the 11th hour? And another issue, he's saying that these issues were also canvassed at the county level, and so there should be no issues that could come up. And also some of the claims that the governor has been saying that there were a series of meetings, that the member of parliament from this region has said that there were no meetings, and is now challenging the incumbent, who is Engineer John Nyagarama, to provide evidence for that matter.
Francis, thank you very much for that update. Of course, we will be expecting more from your end, even as that exercise continues. Let's now head over to Nakuru, where primaries for the Nakuru Town West parliamentary seat were postponed due to anomalies in the ballot papers. The names of Eric Ogada and Jacob Luka were missing in the voting materials that were dispatched to various polling centers Tuesday morning. ODM County Chairman Peter Oleosono said after consulting with the party's National Elections Board, they had decided to postpone the primaries until the issue is sorted out. The date for the primaries will be communicated later.
Election, any nomination whatsoever to take place in any polling station within this constituency. Because we cannot allow few individuals to control us. We cannot allow few individuals with empty stomachs to control the party.
They want to scheme tribal scheme so that Ogada misses, another weak candidate comes, so that they balance the scales of the tribe. They get a weak candidate from ODM. These schemes were aware, and we will stop them. If this one continues like this, and the party does not interfere, be sure this position of parliamentary, this seat, will go to Jubilee by 8.
Now all of a sudden papers are coming without my name. I'm wondering what is happening there. I think ODM should bring its election board house in order, because these people, their scheme is to bring Raila Amolo Odinga down. They are not working for the good of Raila Amolo Odinga. Exactly.
Nakuru West isimame kidogo, watengeneze hiyo, waweke majina yao vizuri na waindicate kila mtu awe kwa hiyo register. Ikiwa register, watapatiwa siku na watafanya mambo yao kulingana na legislation ya chama.
Right, from Nakuru, there was a standoff of a different nature this time in Nyamira County, where voting was temporarily stopped at Nyamira polling station, leaving voters confused on whether to use the IEBC or the ODM party register. The confusion affected several other polling stations in the county, and our reporter, senior political reporter Chris Thairo, will be joining us later on to give us an update on what exactly is happening in Nyamira County as far as voting in that particular nomination exercise is concerned. Meanwhile, the current governor, John Nyagarama, voiced his concerns over the process, and he spoke alongside West Mugirango Member of Parliament James Gesami. Let's listen in to what they had to say.
Well, because first there was the hiccup of who was supposed to vote, whether it was the generality or it was party members who were supposed to vote. That was the first snag, which has since been sorted out in some of the polling stations. And now we have settled down for ODM members only. So, but the situation is not good because the prints are too small, and checking on the people to vote has taken for me, if it took about 15 minutes about the rest of the people, it means that the process is slow. Yes. This is a party affair, and a party affair has to be conducted in a party manner. And we are saying that if somebody is not a party-registered person, should not be allowed to vote, because if you allow everybody to vote, then it becomes a free-for-all. It ceases to be a party nomination exercise. That is my stand, and that's our stand.
Since morning, I've received so many calls, have gone so many vetoes. There's a total delay. There's no IBC registers. There are very few places where the IBC registers are. We know that the register of the so-called register for ODM has been around with one of the aspirants for the last 1 month. And if you go to a place like Marindi polling center, there are 9 people there who have already died, and they are on that list. So many names from West Mugirango are appearing in Ibogitutu. That is irregular. We are now saying that if we have to use that, IBC backup must be available. Yes. And anybody with an ID card, this is an ODM zone, should be allowed to vote. Exactly. And that's what we are asking the returning officers and the party headquarters to ensure that they don't disfranchise Watu West Mugirango. Yes. And in particular, in Nyamira County. And in particular, they are disenfranchising this important station of mine, Sironga. Sironga is my very strong hold. And the people have come from as far as Mongolis to come and vote here. Makairo. And they are going back without voting. So I'm appealing to the party headquarters, in particular the chairman, Pareno, to ensure that the people of Nyamira are given their due respect by voting.
Right, let's now take a short commercial break. Don't go too far. We still have more lined up for you here on KTN News Desk.